For this video, we're going to be talking about the femur. We're going to look at its orientation, how you identify individual structures, and its articulations. This picture that you see in front of you is a right femur in proper anatomical position. I'm going to remove the articulation with the pelvis here. And you'll remember from previous videos here, this right-hand portion is called the os coxae. I'm going to remove all of those. We have the right femur in appropriate anatomical position. First thing to recognize is that the femur itself articulates with the acetabulum, and this portion right here, it's a classic ball and socket joint. This ball right here is called the head of the femur. The head of the femur tapers right here and tapers right here. This is the neck of the femur. And then we're going to be going, now again, this is the anterior. You see this prominence right here. This prominence right here is called the greater trochanter. And the greater trochanter is always anterior. So greater trochanter is anterior. And posterior is the lesser trochanter. The lesser trochanter is inferior and posterior to the greater trochanter. So there's four things to recognize on the superior portion of the femur. Remember too now that the head and the neck are always pointing in the femur medially. Okay. All right, let's move down some to the distal portion of the femur. Now this is anterior, and the femur has a broad surface right here. That broad surface is the patellar surface. So the patella sits right here. Inferior to that on the medial portion is the tibia. Inferior to this, that doesn't actually articulate with, but it is inferior to this, is the fibula. So the tibia articulates with the femur on the medial surface here and the medial surface here. This portion right here is the medial epicondyle. This is the lateral epicondyle, and as I said a minute ago, this is the patellar surface that intervenes in between. And we're going to rotate this around. Now we're stepping away from the femur, looking at posterior section here. This is still pointing medially. This is the greater trochanter. This is the lesser trochanter. So the lesser trochanter, in addition to being inferior, points posterior. Now if we go down to the inferior portion of the femur, you have this is the right femur, so this is lateral. This is the lateral epicondyle. This is the medial epicondyle. And then this large depression here is the intercondylar fossa. This fossa is the point of always posterior. So two things to recognize for posterior is the intercondylar fossa that the mouse is pointing at there, and the lesser trochanter that the mouse is pointing at there.